Okay, so for more understanding of the topic, we need to create more functions to deal with our database. So we need to insert some data. So let's create that function. Let's create a function that insert data. Okay, so let's have a cursor that's been defined. Cursor. Okay, let's have an SQL formula or SQL query that has that. So this should be insert into the name of the database. Profiles, we need to insert first name. Okay, let's go back to a new line to get some space in here. So first name, need to have last name, email, home address, origin, and the values should be values is a MySQL keyword, so the values should be Ahmed show. For this one we are giving it this manually just for you to understand. So issue@gmail.com is the email that I'm giving it. You don't actually need to specify the person ID because, like you see, it's auto increment. That means it will create that automatically for us, and it is an integer, so it's a number. So origin. Okay, so home address first. This will be Morocco. The origin should be Morocco as well. So let's change the address to Morocco. Okay. And after this, okay. Next thing, I need to execute this. So cursor, execute the SQL statement and connection commit. Okay, so we did insert that data. I do not need this describe table statement, so I need to, or neither of this create table, comment this out. I just need to connect to the database and insert some data. So I need to insert data and it will execute this. After this, I need to show that data and just to make sure that I have it in my database. So I need to create another function that gets the data from the database. So cursor, execute connection, cursor, to create another cursor variable, a cursor or an SQL statement, SQL query, excuse me. So this should be select all from profiles, or yes, profiles, to get the data or to get whatever is in the profiles table or database. This should be cursor dot execute the SQL, and I need to create a result variable to get all that data from the cursor. Fetch all. Okay, so for R in results, this is a loop. Results, I'm gonna print the R. Save this. So after inserting the data, I need to get the data from the database. I'm not actually removing it, but I just selected all of these things to know what's in my database. So let's execute that. So this row is the only row that does exist in my database. If I run this again, it will have the same row reinserted in my database. So like you see, it's the same data but with a different ID, because it's auto increment when we created our table, just if you remember that. So I need to delete some of these rows, so I need to create another function that does that for us, and hopefully this is the last function before we are gonna move to implementing this in our main example or our main program. So let's do delete row or delete data. I actually need to get some input from the user, so id equals input, please, or enter the id or the row id to be deleted. Okay, the user will give it an id, so it will create an SQL statement that says delete from profiles where person id is equal to this id, or let's not use this s for now. Okay, let's just use that, and let's use the data to create a tuple that will contain the values that we are going to use in this query. So whatever we specify in this, it's gonna be replaced with this s. Okay, just like the formatting string that we used in before, but instead of using the f string, we are using the formatting string that we have here. So data equals id. Okay, so cursor, we didn't actually create this, so cursor equals connection dot cursor. So cursor dot execute SQL and data in this one. So connection dot commit to commit changes to the database and save everything we did. Delete from profiles. Okay, and after this we need to get the data. So get data, I need to, instead of inserting, I'm gonna get the data, I'm gonna delete data, and I'm gonna get data again. Okay, so let's see. So Python database.py, enter the row ID to be deleted. So let's specify 1, for example, and it showed us that there is just 2 rows left, and let's delete another one. So let's delete the third one, and it showed us that there is just one last one. So let's execute this again, and let's Ctrl C to exit from the program. Let's run it again. So it's still there, so let's Ctrl C to exit the program, and there you go. You have learned how to deal with MySQL just from within your terminal.